Minasan konnichiwa, haleyhime desu. As you may or may not have noticed, I actually made a new banner for my YouTube channel and it says haleyhime. Do not pronounce it haleyhime, please don't do that because that's not what it says. That says hime and it means princess. It's like the title of a princess. And I thought it sounded so cute because it starts with H and so does my name. And I think it like fuses the whole like beauty in Japan thing like perfectly. Yeah, so just so you know, it's pronounced hime, not Heim. And that's what that says up there. Oh, also, I got a new like Coastal Scents palette. That's why my eyes are like lime green. So it's kind of random considering today I'm going to be doing a jet video. I have done a couple like Japan related videos, a couple of beauty related videos, and I wanted to do a jet one because I think people really want to know about the jet program and like, do you spell it with 2 M's and an E or just one? No, I'm kidding. First of all, the application process itself is like really long, and you have to turn a lot of stuff in, you have to go through a lot of processes, blah blah blah, research all that, Google all that, you know, but basically you need to know that it's very long and you need to start on it as soon as possible. That's my #1 tip. Like, start researching it, start knowing the application process, start knowing the kinds of things that they want to hear in your application, you know. Watch some videos on YouTube. There are tons of like resources here on video. I mean, there are tons of resources here on YouTube. My Argonauts, Jason, has like a lot of really good tips and he has like, I feel like hundreds of videos. That man has got you covered. Like, I watched a ton of his videos and you know, they're just everywhere. Like, just Google it, honestly. You'll see on your application that you can actually request placements in Japan. I'm telling you right now, don't request Tokyo, Osaka, Kyoto, Yokohama, Hiroshima, Nagasaki. Like, don't, because like, you know, like everyone's gonna request those and I can tell you like with confidence that they don't care where you request. Like, they really don't care. And it might actually be kind of like a bad thing if you just request Tokyo and Osaka and Kyoto, because it makes you look like you just have no idea about anything else in Japan. And you know, it would just be maybe more impressive and more likely for you to get your placements if you request other places. Now, if I could do it all over again, obviously I would do that. I requested like Yokohama, Tokyo, you know, like I did that. I did the thing that everybody else does and I didn't get my placement. So, you know, just like my advice is to either request a like kind of main town or like a main city in like a lesser known prefecture. Like, for example, Ehime. Like, some people request Ehime, but like really no. And if you were to request like Matsuyama, for example, which is the main city or the capital of Ehime and also just the biggest city on this whole island, you might have a chance because like most people are going to request places on Honshu. So like, yeah, like request Matsuyama because then you're going to get the Inaka anyway, but then you're at least getting like the biggest city in the Inaka, you know what I mean? So like, if you could research like little interesting places like that, yeah, or like places like with beautiful nature, you have a good shot at getting. And like, also I would like suggest like maybe just requesting an entire prefecture, so that way, like, for example, if you just requested the prefecture of Chiba, which is where Narita Airport is, it's like right next to Tokyo. Like, there you go, like, you are right next to the airport and you're right next to Tokyo, but Chiba, like, who requests Chiba? I don't know. You'd have to have some, like, knowledge. But I'm giving you that knowledge right now. They only really, like, consider your request if it's kind of, like, obscure and, like, no one else applied there, so it's like, why not? We'll just put them there, I guess. No one else wants to be there. Just, like, remember to apply in either a smaller town that is in a kind of more well-known prefecture or near a well-known prefecture, or maybe apply to like a main city in like a smaller, like more Inaka area. You know, you'll have better chances at that, I think. It's really easy to travel in Japan anyway. Like, no matter where you get placed, you're gonna be able to travel wherever you want because they have these discount airlines, like they're called Jetstar and Peach, and they're just really cheap. Like, for me, like let me tell you something. Okay, so I live in Yawatahama. I have to drive maybe like 2 hours to get to the airport in Matsuyama, like across, like halfway across the prefecture, and then from there I take like a 2-hour flight maybe to Tokyo, and through Jetstar that's like $100. And that's not bad at all, you know, like for a flight to Tokyo, like from all the way where I am. So, you know, it's really not that bad. Like, just honestly put some thought into your placement request, because that's also going to make it look like you kind of know more than the average person about Japan. You're not just going to put Tokyo and Osaka. As for your, like, what is it called? Your letter of recommendation, get a Japanese person to write that if you can. Like, if you're in a Japanese class, no doubt get a Japanese person to write it. Or if you just have a Japanese, like, professor that you know, or like an advisor or something, that would be really good, I feel. This is all just my personal opinion, and I feel that that would be good because, you know, it's a Japanese person, they know kind of what qualities about you are good for working in Japan, and they'll point those out. So that's like good, right? Take the time to focus on your statement of purpose. My main tips for that are, do not be repetitive. Don't do it. Don't be redundant. Like, if you already said something once, you don't have to like elaborate on it until you like run out of breath. Like, you just need to like point out the basic things, touch upon a lot of things. Don't just like spend forever talking about one thing. And that's especially important if you have a major that doesn't really make sense for the JET program. If your major is like English or Japanese or Asian studies or teaching, that obviously makes sense for this job. But if your English, I mean, if your major is just random like mine was, my major was TV and film production, then you need to like flip that. You need to talk about that in a way that translates into skills that you could use for this job. Like for me, I, for example, was a director on a TV show at my university, on my university's TV station, and I talked, like, that has nothing to do with teaching English in Japan, but I talked about that, like, it taught me a lot of leadership skills, it gave me teamwork skills, organizational skills, you know, and just break it down like that. That's what you should do, especially if you have a random major or just kind of random work experience. You need to tie it all in a nice little bow for them to be like, oh, she actually knows how to like use those skills from other random jobs for this job. Main things you need to like convey are that you are flexible, you are like, you can improvise, you're not like easily shaken, you're like a stable person, and you are a focused and driven person, you're self-motivated, and open, and honestly, this is possibly the most important thing, positive. You need to convey that you are a positive person. Like, in this application, there should not be one word of negativity on anything. Like, don't say something like, I went to Japan and I had a bad experience, but, like, don't even say something like that, because they don't want to, I'm just gonna say this, they don't want a mentally weak person to come here. They don't want someone to come here and like break down and not be able to handle the stress of just living in Japan and like being the only foreign person in a small town. Like, that is really important. They're scoping you out for that. Even if they're not asking you about it directly, they're trying to see if you're the type of person that can handle it. So you need to have that in mind, and when you apply, you need to convey that. The way that you do that is by saying things like, oh, in my past work experience, I learned how to be flexible. I learned how to be open. I'm very interested in learning about Japanese culture. I'm excited to learn about these things. And you need to convey that you don't know everything, and you want to go there to learn and connect with people in an organic way. That will show that you don't already have your idea set of Japan and you're just gonna come here and like live out your fantasies or like be crushed because it doesn't live up to your expectations. So yeah. They have you say things like They're gonna make sure that you say things about like grassroots culturalization, cross-culturalization, interculturalization, oh, all those like buzzwords that you hear about when you apply for the JET program. And those are really important. It is really important that you talk about those things and that you know like what's up, like what the company stands for. But you also need to like stand out against other people and kind of highlight what makes you unique. And like if your major is random or you have random work experience, that's where you can use that to your advantage, because you can be like, you know, I'm not like an English major, but I've learned some real world working skills and I've been in situations that I had to improvise and I had to compromise, and you know, like that is really what they're looking for. They want that degree, of course, that's super important, it's necessary, but that's not all. They're not just like, oh, you're an English major, okay, go. Like, they're really looking at you. Alright, this is like kind of my last point. It's a huge one. I hope you're still watching, because a big point about this is don't talk about anime! Don't talk about anime! Seriously, like, if you start talking about anime, they're like shaking. Like, they're like, oh my god, she just wants to go to Japan to like live out her anime fantasies and like have a senpai and like run underneath the cherry blossoms and like, oh my god, don't talk about anime. That's my point. I'm derailing, but like they're trying to find you otakus. Like, they are trying to find you. You might have on that whole business face, but they're trying to see like, are you just coming to Japan to like find a Japanese boyfriend or girlfriend and just like stay in your room and watch anime all day? Like, are you just wanting to go to those panty vending machines or whatever? Like, they're worried because they're aware of like the image of Japan and like, you know, our image of Japan from the outside, and they don't want someone who just is only doing this for those superficial reasons, like those like Tokyo bright lights. Like, they don't want that kind of person. They need someone who's like I said, who's going to be able to handle it when they get placed in the Inaka and like they realize Japan is not anime. When you send off your application, make sure that you know exactly like what needs to be stapled to what and what needs to be paperclipped to what and like what order they need to go in, because I forgot a paperclip in mine and I like literally cried when I sent it off, and then I realized, oh my god, I put the paperclip in the wrong place. Because I have read stories about jets who were like, they even care about that. They care about like you putting your application together correctly, because they're just trying to like narrow down the applicants because there are so many. So they're like, hey, let's just, you know, X out the people who turn in the application wrong. So make sure you do it correctly to save yourself the anxiety. But like I said, I put a paperclip in the wrong place and look where I am. Just focus on the application. Make sure that you have everything you need in as far in advance as possible. And just really read up about the company, read up about like testimonials of other people. Be just, you know, well informed about everything, and be well informed about your own strengths that you're going to talk about. So yeah, thumbs up if you like this video, and comment and let me know if you have any more questions about the application. If you have applied and if you're on the JET program, if you have any advice, please like leave some down in the comments. And yeah, I just want to take a second to just say thank you to like everyone who subscribed to me so far. Like, I appreciate it so much. Like, the support is honestly, that's just like what makes me want to keep talking to you guys, because it's actually, you know, helping people or inspiring people, and like that's just so amazing. So thank you so much for subscribing. Don't give up on your dreams. Chase your goals. You can do it. You can do anything you put your mind to. You're a star. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and cut this off now. Bye!